Hello, this video will be about writing a professional-looking lab report for classes like Physics 1 Lab. This video will provide knowledge on word equations, proper formatting, and give you a general guideline on how to write a lab report. Before I start, I would like to mention that students enrolled or about to enroll in this class should have general knowledge on Word and Excel so they can follow the video. We will go over an outline of a lab report for the demonstration section. Then we will go over inserting equations and tables and graphs into Word before finally reaching a conclusion where we will have a little test to see if the viewer has actually retained any information. You should use this guideline for classes that don't have a specific formatting for lab reports, and is just a general guideline for any class that has an experiment where you have to report on. Before I continue on to the demonstration section, I would like to mention that I have provided an outline of a sample lab report in the description of the video, along with a standard operating procedure and a table of symbols which you can use for your equations. The first part of the demonstration section will be on formatting. Starting off with fonts. You should generally use two fonts, the Aptos body font, which is the default font for Word, and the Times New Roman font, mostly because they are pretty commonplace and easy to read. For the different types of text, the title, for example, has a 20-point font size and is bold. The subsections, like this introduction, are 16-point font and also bold, and then everything else should just be 12-point. Next up, we have our diagrams, charts, graphs, whatever you want to call them. You should have them centered and labeled with a figure. This is the MLA format for the figure, and have a short description of it. You can search up the APA format as well online. Anything works, really. Just make sure to be consistent throughout the rest of the document. The next section of the demonstration is the outline. This is where we will list and follow along with all of the subsections that are ordered in a specific way. I should mention that the outline of the lab report in the description follows this exact ordering as well. We have 8 subsections: the title and heading, the introduction, the procedure, the data, calculations, error analysis, questions and results, and lastly the conclusion. We will go through each subsection with the outline that I've provided in the description. From this outline, we have every subsection listed. Starting off with the title and heading, as you can see, we have the lab number and the title, which can just be found from the lab document usually provided by your TA or instructor. For your heading, you're going to want to have your name, your lab partners, and the date. Next off, we have the introduction. This will be a summary/abstract of the lab taken, which provides the equations needed and their general solutions, and along with any figures or graphs that have been provided to you. Usually this is listed in D2L and can just be copy-pasted. If this is not allowed, you will obviously have to write it in your own words. Next up, we have the procedure. This is a numbered list of each step taken in the lab. Usually, you can just copy-paste from the lab procedure that was provided to you. Yet again, if this is not allowed, you will have to do it in your own words. The next subsections are the data and graphs. This is where all of your data that you have recorded from your experiment will go. Usually copy-pasted from Excel or another software. The graphs can be copy-pasted pretty seamlessly. However, for the tables, you will have to insert your own manually and then copy the data from Excel into the tables. I will demonstrate how to insert a table right away. First things first, you're going to want to hit the Insert tab and then the Table section. Usually right here, you can hover over the columns and rows. I will make a 3x4 table. Next, you're going to want to highlight the cells for the specific borders that you want. As you can see, there's a bunch of options. I will choose the outside borders to make the, obviously, outside border more bold. If you can scroll to the bottom, you can make a custom border with a different width, etc. And then if you highlight specific cells, you can insert rows above or below or to the left and right, which it basically just copy pastes the rows above or below. Next up, you can use these diagonal borders to cross out certain cells. And then lastly, you can highlight each cell with the shading option. Our next section is the calculations. This is where you will utilize the generic equations provided to you from the procedure. You will box your results and use them to answer any questions asked by the TA or procedure. I will go over equations in a later part of the video. For our error analysis section, you will have to provide a short summary of any errors that could have occurred during the experiment and possibly calculate a percent difference. Our next two sections are the results and questions. This is where you will briefly describe your findings as well as answer any questions from the procedure. Be sure to reference any sources that you found through the web or textbook. Our last section is the conclusion. This is where you will summarize your entire lab report and provide any thoughts on how the experiment went, what could have gone better, and any closing thoughts that are required from the procedure. Our last section from the demonstration is the equation section, which will provide you information on how to insert an equation, some shortcuts for symbols, and then lastly, have a short demonstration of writing an equation from scratch in Word. As you can see, these are some examples of equations you can write just using Word. Next up, we have a table of common symbols along with their shortcuts, which I have provided to you in the description. Next, we will go to the short demonstration. First things first, you want to hit the Insert tab, then go all the way to the right, click on the pi symbol to insert your equation. If you want symbols, do the Symbol tab, more symbols, and you just scroll through this long list. It's quite numerous and can be used even for non-equation related things. We're going to be implementing this equation I have on the screen. For a subscript, you just want to use an underscore and have the thing you want to subscript after it. Press space. For division bars, same thing. Press space afterwards. We're going to use a shortcut /int for our integral. And then for a subscript, again, for the initial position, and then a caret for the final position for a superscript. Press space again. And then another division bar. And then if you want to go to the next line, just press Shift-Enter. We're going to use another shortcut /inc for the delta. And then because these things out front are constants, we can just copy paste them. And then lastly, we have the natural log with absolute value bars, with the final pressure divided by the initial pressure. And the bars will extend fully after pressing space. As you can see, pretty simple. And that brings us to our conclusion. I hope that you make use of the outline and write good-looking lab reports in a timely manner. Before I end the video though, I would like to have two tests to see if you've retained any information. The first test is to tell me what is wrong with these two images. And then the second one is I would like you to recreate this equation in Word. If you can make this equation, you will most likely have little to no trouble with any equations you come across. Thanks for watching.